Have you ever searched for the right foods to lower cholesterol? You are being misled by big experts like Harvard Medical, Mayo Clinic, and good grief, the American Heart Association. Not only are we being given misleading information, we're being fed just outright dangerous information. Hey, this is Barbara McDermott, founder of Shift Formula, and in this video we're going to take a look at 11 prescribed foods to lower cholesterol that have been given to us by Harvard Medical. Now, before we get started, make sure you like or subscribe to this video or channel, and that way when I put out more videos like it, you'll be sure to be notified. When it comes to lowering cholesterol, we are very wise to be skeptical and to ask ourselves why, and if we even should be concerned about lowering cholesterol, right? It's really not so much about lowering, it's not the quantity of our cholesterol, it's really the quality of our cholesterol that truly counts. And this is why you, like I had been, can be distracted and overwhelmed with all the rigmarole and runaround being fed to us by, big experts. In this particular article that we're taking a look at, Harvard Medical prescribes these 11 foods to lower cholesterol. They use 3 different science ideas, and that's number 1. If we ate more fiber, the fiber in our foods would bind up the LDL cholesterol, which they label as bad, and it would take it out of our system. The second one is the fact that we can block cholesterol's absorption with things like sterols and stanols that can be added to foods. That's another thought they give us. And the third one is, hey, let's beat down the body's ability to even produce cholesterol with something as crazy as polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are extremely high amounts in these things called vegetable oils. Okay, so those are the 3 kind of strategy tactics that they lay out in this article. Now, before we go into this, we need to put on this cap and understand what even rises or damages, more important thought, cholesterol in the first place. Now, the 2 variables that really influence our quality of cholesterol are number 1, sugar. Now, most of the world, when they hear the word sugar, that used to be a cuss word for me, but sugar used to mean, for many, what's in the sugar bowl. But really, sugar, when it comes to human body, is every single carbohydrate. Okay, carbohydrate breaks down immediately into our body as glucose. That's the science word for sugar. So we have carbohydrate / glucose is the same thing. Okay, why is glucose so damaging? Can you see that? Why is glucose so damaging? Well, it is only a fuel source for our body, right? When we eat fat and protein, those are both building blocks, fortification, and fuel for our body. But carbohydrate glucose, it's only fuel, okay? So when we have an excess amount of sugar, carbohydrate turned glucose, in our bloodstream, it's that sugar, like tiny shards of glass, that can actually create tears, microscopic tears in, of all things, our delicate blood vessels. And we get afraid that cholesterol is going to clog our blood vessels. No, cholesterol, the LDL in particular, acts as like a Band-Aid, a patch for these microscopic tears. And that blood sugar, BS, okay, carbohydrate, and I always use the term BS for blood sugar, right? But it's the BS that actually creates the damage to our delicate blood vessels. In the first place, cholesterol gently patches or refortifies that place, and because blood sugar was up, our friend hormone insulin's also elevated, which is a growth hormone. So when cholesterol makes that patch and saves our lives, insulin triggers the smooth muscle cells of our blood vessels to cover over that patch. And it's that, over and over time, that creates atherosclerosis. It's glucose and insulin that form a clog, not the cholesterol, okay? And also, LDL, that low-density lipoprotein, that gets the bad name because why? Not because we have too much of it in our body. It's that LDL cholesterol is more fragile, so therefore more susceptible to sugar damage from carbohydrate, blood sugar, glucose. So really it's not the quantity of cholesterol, it's the quality of cholesterol. So our body becomes inflamed over time from things like sugar, and cholesterol will rise proportionately to meet the demand of protecting and reinforcing and taking care of damage caused by that. So underneath it all, if we want to lower cholesterol, which we really don't want to do, we want to improve cholesterol, all we need to do is lessen the amount of carbohydrate we're consuming. It's really that simple. Okay? And the other variable that can really influence the amount of cholesterol and the quality of cholesterol in our body comes from what, you've heard this out in the world perhaps, factory fats. Factory fats mean they didn't come from nature. That means man made them. And they are literally polyunsaturated fatty acid dense vegetable oils. Okay, but I'm going to put factory fat here so we understand what we're talking about. And factory fats are vegetable oils. And it's so funny because I'm chuckling. Why am I chuckling? Because vegetable oils aren't even made from vegetables. They're under this title that sounds healthy, but they're not. Vegetable oils are made from corn, which is a grain. Vegetable oils are made from soybean, which is a legume or a bean. Vegetable oils are made from safflower or canola. Look that one up. What even is canola, right? They're not made from vegetables. And because they're created not naturally, saturated fats like grass-fed butter, that's real. In fact, our body thrives on saturated fats because when they come from nature, they have the right balance of kinds of fats. When you get the factory fats, they're really heavy, loaded with one particular kind of fat more than another. Omega-6 is in an exorbitant amount, and that in itself is inflammatory. So things like factory fats, our body's like, wait, what the hell is that? And it actually weakens cell membranes. Think about the cell membranes lining our blood vessels. If they're weak, what's going to happen? Cholesterol is going to rise to meet the demand of the weakening cells of our membranes and do some fortification. It's not the cholesterol that's the problem. It's us following the directives of what is called healthy eating. But cut to the chase, cholesterol both improves in quality and lessens in quantity when we consume less carbohydrates and when we consume less factory fats. Okay, with that under our belts, let's take a look at the prescribed foods that Harvard Medical is telling you is going to lower your cholesterol. Okay, the first one is oats. And the reason they say oats are so powerful is because they're so high in fiber. Yes, fiber. Well, if you look at one serving of oatmeal, and it says right here in their article, it's going to give us about 1 to 2 grams of soluble fiber. 1 to 2 grams. Does that sound like a lot of fiber for a serving? I don't know, 1 to 2 grams, right? But what they don't tell you is that same amount of oatmeal is going to give you about 48 grams of blood sugar. So you're going to get a little bit of fiber in a whole lot of blood sugar, carbohydrate. Is that really going to lower cholesterol? Is that amount of fiber going to sweep out LDL? I don't even want to sweep out my LDL. I want my LDL to just be better, improved in quality, right? I don't want to throw all my money out, even though some of the pennies have been oxidized, have been damaged by air and water and sugar. I don't want to do that, right? So they're telling you to eat oatmeal and add a banana into the oatmeal because you get another ½ gram of fiber. Is that enough to do anything? I don't know. But they don't tell you what that banana and the oatmeal, as I just said, 48 grams. 48 grams of blood sugar. Crikes. 48 grams of carbohydrate for just about maybe 4 grams of fiber. Does that add up? I don't think so. I don't have. And then we go into number 2, barley and whole grains. Well, I think we just established And just a little more foundation, you know, whole grains are our world's food supply's largest load of carbohydrate. Blood sugar, anyone? This is blood sugar. Oats, barley, and whole grains actually are blood sugar. So if we're consuming more foods that are sugar, we're doing more and more wear and tear to our delicate proteins in our body. When it comes to beans, now beans, compared to oats, add about 10 grams of fiber per the same amount of a, 1 cup serving. So beans, as far as fiber goes, yeah, I'd give that definitely a good red flag. That works. Lots of good fiber in that. However, the sugar load is the same as the oatmeal. So it's good fiber, excuse my writing here, it's great fiber, but BS is crazy. It's still high in BS. So they're telling us to eat another high carbohydrate food to lower cholesterol. See how this doesn't add up? Now finally, number 4, we get to a vegetable. I think we all understand from our moms that eating vegetables is a good idea. And they cite the fact that these 2 vegetables, eggplant and okra, are especially low in calories and high in fiber. Well, I think any 5th grader would know that really all vegetables are low calorie and high in fiber. Why are we pulling these 2 out? Where's all the leafy greens? Where's the cruciferous vegetables? I don't know. But at least we know that this doesn't have a lot of carbohydrates. So therefore, yeah, let's give that a thumbs up. Okay, that's a good idea. Put a check mark next to the vegetables. But I would add all vegetables, especially the ones that grow above the ground. Root vegetables have a lot more carbohydrate, so choose the ones that are, growing up in the air. When it comes to nuts, that's number 5 on their list. There we have some polyunsaturated fatty acids, the omega-6s and the omega-3s, but they're in a beautiful balance. So for our body, they're health promoting, they're non-inflammatory, unless we're soaking those in things like vegetable oil, soybean oil, corn oil, safflower oil. All of those take our body into a heavy load of omega-6, which are highly inflammatory. So the fact that they even have vegetable oils on their list makes me go, wait, what? I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. So when it comes to vegetable oils, I just give it a big X. Don't even go there. You want to be consuming things like coconut oil, olive oil, and grass-fed butter. Yeah, grass-fed butter is actually, well, not even safer. It's beautiful for your body. Whereas vegetable oils, they aren't even real, and there's not a vegetable in the group, right? Let me give the nuts a thumbs up. But again, make sure they're not roasted in these scary inflammatory oils. Now we have number 7, the fruits parade on in. And the fruits, I think, in the world are the foods that get the most glory, and we don't have the whole story. Every fruit is a carbohydrate, and it's especially loaded with fructose. This apple is 70% fructose, and fructose, that particular form of sugar, can't be used by any cell of our body. It goes straight to the liver, and guess what the liver does with fructose? It metabolizes it into fat. Nothing raises our triglycerides more powerfully than fruit. So we don't want to not eat fruit, but we just don't want to eat fruit in an attempt to manage our cholesterol, okay? However, what I would suggest is stick with the berries, because the berries are the lowest sugar of all the fruits, and they still have that fiber in them. Strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, they're a great idea, okay? Number 8, I had to stop and do a little like, wait, what? So sterols and stanols, they're letting us know that this is a good thing. We are extracting compounds from things like vegetables and fruits and nuts and seeds, and they're called sterols and stanols, which to me looks a lot like cholesterol, right? And the cool thing is, molecularly structured, they are a lot like cholesterol. They sound like cholesterol, and molecularly, say that 7 times fast, they are the same or close to cholesterol molecule. What this does is that when we eat foods that have that in it, our body, because of these sterols and stanols, they block our body's ability to absorb cholesterol. So Medical Harvard is telling us, this is great news. There are companies out there putting sterols and stanols, additives, into foods to help us. So they're putting into foods like orange juice and chocolate and granola bars and margarine. Margarine! Please don't eat margarine. Just eat real grass-fed butter. Okay, margarine is not a thing. It was created by man, just like the vegetable oils, okay? And they're putting these things, do you see the conflict? There are companies out there set to make big profit from cholesterol-crazed and confused consumers by putting in additives that's going to tell us going to lower cholesterol, but they're putting these additives into the very foods that actually contribute to elevated cholesterol. I don't even know what to put next to that one. I'm going to just leave it hang. Okay, number 9, we go into soy. Now soy, it went through a limelight phase where everyone was saying soy was the new health food, right? And Harvard even says this right in their article. You know, at one time they said that soy had tremendous power in lowering cholesterol. Now they realize it's just a modest effect, but they're still telling you to consume it. Now soy can be a little bit, I call it lots of question marks behind it. It's a very highly processed food. Obviously they're using soybean for vegetable oils. That's not cool. So soybeans get used in many different ways, and again, as I said, they're processed heavily. So we avoid them for even just one such reason, that there are components of soy that can mimic estrogen. So the way our body processes estrogen can be impacted by soy acting also kind of like estrogen in our bodies. You know, when we have extra belly fat, which came from carbohydrate is waste weight. Yeah, we wear our blood sugar around our bellies, call this an insulin belt. Insulin makes sure that any excess carbohydrate, we carry it right here. And then that belly fat becomes an estrogen factory. And this is why women who are battling breast cancer, estrogen stimulates breast tissue growth. And if I have belly fat, I'm actually stimulating breast tissue growth even more because my belly fat is producing estrogen. I'm going to avoid soy because soy can act like estrogen in my body. No thank you. Big X over the word soy. Why even bother going there? I don't know if you can see that. Big X. Okay? When it comes down to number 10, we finally have some sanity. Fatty fish. Fatty fish, Harvard Medical says, will help us lower cholesterol. But isn't it interesting? They put this in. We're told to always avoid fat, and yet now they're saying fatty fish lowers cholesterol. Well, it's true, because fatty fish doesn't give us any carbohydrate, does it? It just gives us what our body desires, fat and protein. We crave butter because our body uses butter. And we crave these foods that are delicious because they actually serve our body's fortification. So when it comes to oats, what do we see? Carbohydrate, right? Oh goodness gracious, my pen's not working. Carbohydrate, right? Barley, carbohydrate. Beans, carbohydrate. Eggplant and okra, you have some eggs. You can skip the eggplant, have some eggs. Eggplant and okra, also a carbohydrate, but not too high. So we keep that in there. Nuts has carbohydrate, but also fat and protein. And as long as they're not processed with vegetable oils, that's not even a food. That's out of there. But look, that's the factory food. Okay, apples, grapes, all these fruits, also carbohydrates. Keeping the strawberries because they're the least amount of carbohydrates. Sterols and stanols, we hardly know what those are. We hardly know what those are. And they're being put into products for us. Let's be careful and not fall into that trap. Soy is also a carbohydrate and is involved in factory fats. And the only one that's free and clear is just this guy. So eat your fatty fish, everybody, right? Don't worry about fiber supplements. Good grief, that's only going to give you, as they say, maybe 4 more grams of soluble fiber. They're telling us these things can lower cholesterol. I'm telling you, you don't need to lower your cholesterol. You need to protect your cholesterol. We have to be responsible for ourselves. Okay, if you liked this or found any nuggets of truth, if you'd like to leave a comment or a question below, share and like it so your friends and family are also informed. And if you have any questions or seeking some answers for your personal health situation, come on inside theshiftformula.com and I'll see you there.